Next question. Yes?
You mentioned before that all of our neshamos come from Adam HaRishon.
Ken?
I've heard that before, and I never really understood it, because Noah is 10 generations further than Adam HaRishon. They lived in the same time frame. Adam had Cain and Hevel and Chase. So how do their neshamas come from Adam? I mean, I guess because maybe Adam was the father and you learned something from the father to the son. He's giving a part of himself to the son. Could that be it?
Yeah, well, Adam HaRishon was the first neshama. Asher HaKadosh Baruch Hu put the original neshama into Adam HaRishon. He put a piece of himself into Adam HaRishon, where he blew into his nostrils the neshama. And a neshama it's not physical. It's the only thing that you can compare it to where each one of us will have an understanding. It's like fire. A neshama is like fire. So fire, if let's say for example I have a candle and it's lit. Now if I want to light a second candle, I'm going to take that candle and take a second candle that's off and light the second candle. Now once I have two candles, did the first fire change? Didn't change. Same exact fire. But now I have two candles and they both have the same fire. Now let's say I take the same candle again and I light 10 more candles. Did the first fire change? No, still the same one. Right? It can split into an infinite amount of pieces. Each one of us was in a different part of the body, the physical body of Adam HaRishon. Some were in the head, which is usually the tzaddikim, the biggest tzaddikim in history. They were in the head. Some were in the shoulder. Quite frankly, with all due respect for all of us, we are most likely in the feet section. We're in the feet section. That's just a reality. The last generation, most of the people are from the feet. But that's also part of the reason of why we all have to still do tshuva for the original sin that Adam HaRishon did. Because we were partners to it. We were part of that original neshama. So Adam HaRishon's neshama went into his children. Now, after that, the generations continued. Each one of those children had more kids. But that original neshama that split into, let's say, 3 kids, those 3 split into another 10, those 10 split into another 20, those 20 split into another 50, and so on and so forth, all the way to the generation of Noah, 10 generations later. But it still has that original piece. Still has that original piece that's carried it forward the whole time. Point being is that original piece, 5,779 years later, is still here, and that's why we still have that connection to Adam HaRishon. But just as a last footnote, the reason why the Noahide laws, which are the laws of the Goyim, are called after Noah, is not because Noah was more significant than Adam HaRishon, because Adam HaRishon also had those rules. Adam HaRishon also had those rules. It's just that Adam HaRishon had the first 6 rules, and Noah got the 7th one. So there's a rule in the Torah that whoever completes the mitzvah, he gets the mitzvah named after him. So that's why it's called the 7 laws of Noah. Chava, next question. Yes?
Yeah, but like, if we're considered a part of Adam, and that's why we have to do Teshuva,
Kid?
how come the Goyim don't have to do Teshuva? They're also part of it.
That's why he already asked the question. It's fine. So the question is, if we are originally from Adam HaRishon and we have to do tshuva for that original sin, how come the Goyim do not have to do tshuva for the original sin? Well, they actually do. They also have to do tshuva for the original sin, and they have to do tshuva for everything else. That's why they're alive also. The Goyim also have a mission in the world in order to fulfill the Torah, which is to achieve their own state of fulfillment by complying with the Torah, which is 7 Noahide laws, 60 ethical laws. There's the 7 Noahide laws: don't murder, adultery, idolatry, and so on and so forth. Have a court, they have to have a court system, so there's no mayhem. And they don't eat an animal that's still alive. You want to eat something, they're allowed to eat whatever they want, but it just cannot be alive. But the point is that they have laws, and that are the 7 obvious ones, like we have the 10 commandments that are obvious, but those 7 break up into about 50 or 60 ethical laws that are in the Torah, and they have to do tshuva in essence by following those laws, because that's their imperfections. One of those main things that they have to follow is part of their imperfections. And that imperfection is the reason why they are still here. They also get reincarnated. Non-Jews also get reincarnated. It's not just Jews. So, point being is that they also have to do tshuva, partly for what happened originally, but even more so for their own issues, for what they themselves have committed. The biggest tshuva that everybody has to do is not for Adam HaRishon. The biggest tshuva we all have to do is for ourselves, for our own sins, for our own mistakes, what we did in this life and perhaps in previous lives. And by the way, if you're going to ask the question of how do I know what's the biggest thing that I need to do, the biggest thing is usually the most difficult. Whatever is most difficult for you, that's usually the biggest thing that you need to do.